There's stories about a lady, there's stories about a man, and there's stories about a child.
Seen like a dark, shadowy figure.
Show yourself.
And she's now petrified to work in the kitchen alone.
Heard noises down there.
I did too. Alright, we've already got a ball going off. Cool.
In front of you.
As though he was being pushed down.
I think we're supposed to be in here.
Hi Crypt Keepers, thank you so much for tuning into AmysCrypt. I'm really excited for tonight's paranormal investigation because we've got access to a historic haunted mansion here in Adelaide, South Australia, and I'm so stoked to share this one with you guys, so stay tuned. In the heart of Adelaide, South Australia sits a magnificent mansion, rumoured to be haunted. The property was built in 1873 by John Brownsville, a wealthy man who lived in the mansion until 1902 when he died inside his home of a heart attack. The building is said to be inhabited by a number of spirits, which could relate to the building's past, having functioned as a private residence, radiography business, a base for US officers during World War II, a boarding house, and finally, as a host for the Naval Military and Air Force Club of South Australia. We were fortunate to talk to the building's head chef, Peter, who gave us some insight into the building's paranormal activity, telling us a little about the most active areas of the building.
Probably the stairwells. It seems to be more prominent in the stairwell as the most activity. We've had a little bit of action in the kitchen and a little bit upstairs, but because I'm downstairs most of the time in the kitchen, a lot seems to happen when I'm here on my own and when I'm here with another particular young chef. We've experienced a couple of things together, and she's now petrified to work in the kitchen alone. So it's quite eerie on some days.
Experiences reported by staff and visitors to the mansion seem to indicate the presence of 3 main spirits within the building, including a shadowy man wearing a jacket, an older woman, and a young girl. While little is known about the building's male spirit, he has made his presence known multiple times, especially around Peter.
The first time it happened, it was a Saturday afternoon, after probably about 4 weeks after I started, and I was working away on my prep bench, and just through the corner of my eye I spotted a dark shadow head down, just walking quickly through the other part of the kitchen and then past me and through the alley, well, through the corridor towards the dining room. And I said to the other chefs, I said, "Hey guys, who's that?" Because we're supposed to be here on our own. And they said, "Why, what is it?" I said, "Well, there's a guy just in a black coat just walked straight past us." So we thought, okay, we'll go have a look. And one of my chefs went outside. I went with my sous chef into the dining room, and there was no one there yet. I was 100% sure they walked straight past, 100%. And of course the guys sort of laughed at me and said, "Oh, this is the ghost." And I went, "What ghost?" Then they started telling me even more stories about it. Following that, we had the COVID thing, so we were closed for about 3 months, I think it would have been, and it was just myself and one of my young chefs working and one front of house staff on each day, and we're doing takeaway meals. All was well. I used to hear a lot of banging and crashing around the building, and I sort of just didn't want to pay too much attention to it. Then we opened up again, and one afternoon, it was a Saturday afternoon, and Zoe, one of my young chefs, had started work with me, and she wanted to go to the garden to get some herbs. So she used to always go through the front door, so I said, "No, go round through the back door, I'll show you the way." So we went round through the back entrance where the gardener's sheds are, and we got to the gate, and we just stopped, both stopped at the same time, and we saw this man in the same black jacket walk past the gate. And she sort of jumped back going, because she was in front of me, she jumped back going, "Who's that?" And I said, "Oh, it's probably Bruce the gardener." So we opened up the gate and there was no one there. Then all of a sudden she said, "Oh, there he is," and he just walked straight through the veranda and just kept walking, but there was no one there. So we sort of followed and just disappeared, and she won't go to the garden on her own now at all. So she's got to have an escort with her every time she goes to the garden, whether it's day or evening. She won't go to the garden.
It seems the kitchen is an active location for strange paranormal experiences, and one that became of interest to our paranormal investigation.
It was about 4:30 on a Saturday afternoon, and I was writing up a prep list on the board, and she was in her section in the kitchen, and I heard a loud bang on the bench, and she said, "Oh, Peter, you're scaring me." And then I sort of said to her, "What are you talking about?" "So I'm out here." She said, "No, you're in the other side." And I said, "Where?" "The bang was on your bench." I said, "But I'm here." And she said, no, there was a loud bang. And she said, "I saw someone walk past." And I said, "Zoe, I'm here." And she said, "Oh, then who is it?" I said, "Oh, don't worry, Zoe, it's just the ghost, he's saying hello." So she seems to get more attracted to it as I am, and nobody else seems to get that same vibe as we do. So I don't know what's the catch.
The spirit of the young child has also been quite active around Peter and others. She is typically heard or sighted on the building's grand staircase.
On a couple of occasions on a Saturday afternoon, I've been here just on my own. I bring my music in now on Saturday so I don't hear anything on purpose. But probably about, it'd be 6 months ago was the first really weird experience. I was working away and heard some laughing out in the hallway. So I came out and heard some people running up and down the stairs, and of course just thought, well, who's in the building? I'm supposed to be here on my own, everything's locked up. And just heard footsteps up and down the stairwell, so investigate, no one's there. So I ran back to the kitchen and made sure all the lights were on, and it was okay then for about half an hour, and then I heard it again, and then there was like a large thumping from upstairs, as though someone was banging on the ground. So I went outside and just took 10 minutes and then came back in, and it was all quiet. Just more recently, probably about, it was March, I had my future daughter-in-law was staying here for the evening with her bridesmaids upstairs, so they hired 3 of the rooms, and we gave them the 3 best rooms, and they came in on the Friday night prior to the wedding. Everything was fine. I set them up with some cheese platter and a bottle of champagne. They were happy. They went out for dinner, came back, and then unbeknown to me until the day of the wedding, the girls had heard a child running up and down the stairs at around about 1:30 in the morning. So one of the bridesmaids went out to see who it was, and there was no one there. The other girls went out and they all had a look, and they thought, we had a function on the night before, so they thought someone was still here with a child. So they didn't pay much attention to it, went back to their rooms, and then of course there was more laughing and more running up and down the stairs. So they came back out, and one of the girls was going shh, and then she heard the child laughing even louder. So they all came out again, went and had a look, and there was no one there. So they moved all the mattresses into one room. And on the morning I got a phone call from my daughter-in-law-to-be saying, "Thanks Pete, you set us up great." And I was sort of saying, "What are you talking about?" She said, "The child running up and down the stairs." And I went, "Well, rumour has that I didn't tell you, but there was some paranormal activity, but I didn't want to tell you and alarm you." And she said, "Thanks, well, we didn't sleep all night, so if I look at today, it's your fault." So it was quite funny, but quite eerie at the same time. We've heard that she's supposed to be around about six years old, and apparently, I'm not sure of the story, but apparently she died on site. That was the story that was given to me. So I just think she's just hanging around and just enjoys the place too much. So it's really, really, really weird. When you actually hear the giggle, it's not a sinister giggle. It's like a child that's just playing. So it's nothing evil or anything sort of dangerous. It's more of a child that you'd listen to playing with a toy, having a giggle, having a run, but you sort of go, yeah, that's really weird, really weird. The child seems to be the most sort of playful entity, if you can say it like that. It doesn't seem evil at all. The man, I think, has this evil presence. He's very sort of dark and very, very, just gives you an evil feeling, and you do get a cold sort of feeling when you feel that, and I feel that quite often when I'm here on my own. It seems to be when I'm on my own, it seems weird. Like even this afternoon, I came in at 5 o'clock because I wanted to do some work, some costings and some menus, and even that I had this weird feeling that somebody else was here. So you constantly sort of get up and walk around and just check doors and check bars and things like that. So it's a bit off-putting. The child I don't mind, but the guy I'm not real wrapped in.
While Peter didn't have any of his own experiences with the older female spirit within the building, he was able to provide some insight into others' interactions with her.
I've had no experiences with this, but our manager, he's seen her when he was upstairs he was fixing up his bow tie for a function. And she was looking in the mirror at the same time as he was fixing his tie. And he also spent a night here and had that same presence within his room, as though he was being pushed down. But that's his sort of story about it. But I haven't had any experiences with the lady. I've more had the child and the man.
Now, we set out to explore the rest of this historic mansion before beginning our paranormal investigation in one of the most active areas, the kitchen. Alright, Crypt Keepers, before we totally lose light, I'm going to give you a tour around this historic mansion. This is today the Naval Military and Air Force Club of South Australia. But there's a lot of history here. This building dates back to 1873 and was built by John Rounsville. I actually have a large historic photo of what the house used to look like. Obviously you've seen our drone shots, so you know what it looks like today, and it is quite unfortunate, but the veranda had to be removed because it did rot out. Now, the first kind of paranormal thing that I want to bring to everyone's attention kind of is this area. Now, I've heard that this is a room up here that has no floor, right? So no one goes in there, obviously it has no floor. But people have reported to see like a light turned on in there, which is extremely odd. Like, it shouldn't be lit at all. No one should be in there. So I find that's kind of like spooky and interesting. But seriously, like, guys, like, look how magnificent this place is, like this grand staircase. And there are a number of ghost stories to go with this place. So I'm first going to take you into this room. This is the Air Force room, and there's a lot of like historic artifacts, like there's a propeller up above my head here, but a lot of stuff to do with the military, you know, Navy and Air Force here. Now, the man who did kind of build this mansion in the first place, he lived here. It was his family home up until 1902. He died here in the building of a heart attack. So apparently he had just had breakfast and he was walking outside of his bedroom door and he collapsed. Interestingly, he's the only reported death here, but there are two other spirits, you know, said to be getting around. We have a little girl. No one really knows where she's come from. And there's also like an elderly woman who's dressed in old-fashioned clothing that has been seen here. So it's such an interesting place and so beautiful. So another beautiful boardroom here, and like, just look how grand this place is. The beautiful light fixtures, and I love it here. I also, like, there's a bunch of medals in here. This place is just stunning, guys. So much history as well. Oh, and guys, like, I want to tell you about this seat. Apparently, so the child who haunts the building is actually a little girl, and she's been seen by a lot of people sitting right here in this very chair, which I think is cool. Another hotspot is the staircase, which I'll talk to a little bit later, but she's quite active on the stairs as well.
Oh my god, this clock is so grand.
Well, look at this clock. You think that one's grand? Check this one out.
Oh my god. Is that real gold? It's crazy.
I don't know, it's beautiful though. So we're just walking into the Gallipoli room, and this is a place where they do a lot of dining these days, but it's also a place that they sort of have commemorated past members who have actually served. So I think it's pretty cool for that. But we also have our first ghost story that is centered in this room that actually happened here. So picture this. You're a waitress, you work here, you're just clearing up after some guests who have already come in and had their meal and they've left. So you know that you're alone here. And then all of a sudden you hear a banging on this glass. So you kind of naturally, you're going to go to investigate that, right? You leave, go into the other room, there's nobody there. And it's so weird because you know you're in the building alone. So maybe you try to like just shrug it off and keep working. So you come back, continue to kind of clear plates and cutlery. Bang, bang, bang. Again, this door. Someone is banging on this door. You don't know who, there's no one in here, you can't explain it. So super weird, super creepy, super interesting, and hopefully this is a spot that we can maybe do a bit more work later tonight and investigate. I love this guy. Love it. All right, so we are heading into the kitchen, and Maybe think kitchen not so scary, but this is a place that the kitchen staff have seen like a dark shadowy figure, and this dark shadowy figure is kind of like the most ominous, creepiest of the ghosts, of the three spirits that are here. So a lot of people have seen him. He's described as wearing like a long dark coat and always kind of like moving like his head is down. So I'm not sure what is with that. I don't know if it's our original owner John, who died here of a heart attack in 1902. But some weird, creepy stuff has happened here. And it's not just sighting this dark shadowy figure, like, you know, out of the corner of your eye, look away and you just see him kind of gliding past. It's also like loud banging. So we come through here.
This place is like a maze. This kitchen is so big.
This kitchen is huge. Well, compared to the kitchens that I've worked in the past, but you know, you might hear a loud bang on one of these metal bench tops, or just, this is the area where our shadowy figure male is seen the most. As Peter said in the earlier interview, which you guys would have seen, he's also been seen in like the garden and I think a few other areas, maybe in the house, but mostly here. So it's interesting that he's in the kitchen. I mean, maybe this wasn't always the kitchen back in the day. Interestingly, there was a ballroom somewhere in this mansion, but they don't know where it was. So it remains a mystery to history, I guess. But yeah, I think this is definitely a place. This is the first place I kind of want to investigate, honestly. Ooh. It's like a top hanging up in here. I'm like, oh, there's somebody in there. Now guys, we're gonna get stuck into our investigation now and actually go into the kitchen and, you know, reach out to this dark entity that so many people have seen. But there are so many more creepy things and so much more to explore here. So one of the things that I want to talk to is the staircase, as well as all the rooms upstairs. If you want to see that, make sure that you hit subscribe because it's coming in a future part. But we're gonna head back into the kitchen now because it's so creepy. All right guys, we've just moved back into the kitchen and I don't know about you, Jared, but there's a weird vibe in here.
Yeah, it's there's lots of like refrigerators and vents and
like sharp knives.
Yeah, and
Alright, so also I've already set up a stationary camera on one area that I want to monitor while we kind of investigate another area. So I'll show you guys what I've got going on, but we've already had one of our cat balls going off. Alright, we've already got a ball going off, cool. Okay, basically guys, I have a camera set up here. And that is using UV light, which is kind of on the floor here, to film. I've got 3 cat balls and this one has already gone off, but basically if these are physically moved, they light up flashing colours just like that. And that one's already been triggered and lit up. I also have a REM pod here, which is a relatively new tool for us. Basically it sets up a magnetic field around itself, and if anything gets close enough and it senses the proximity and something moving, it will light up flashing colors and sounds. So I can demonstrate that for everyone and for anyone that's in this room. So if anyone is here in the kitchen, don't be shy to come and show us that you're here. You can move close to this red light. You can touch any of these balls down here. You can show yourself to us or come touch us, say, make a noise, anything you want. So we're gonna leave this area. Oh my God. Ugh, this is creeping me out. This mirror right near you, Jared, I was just over there like kind of looking in it, and it's just, I mean, it's designed so you can see around corners, right? So you can see everything, and I'm just like looking in this area. It's all dark and shadowy. It's freaking me out. Freaking me out. Jared and I are gonna reach out in this kind of area. Now I'm gonna run Ghost Tube. You guys can download this for free. You guys who've been watching me for a long time already know this, but links are in the description down below. This is an app that Jared and I built ourselves. So We love it, we trust it. And I'm now recording so you guys can see what's happening on the bottom of the screen. If there is anybody here in this kitchen or anyone in this whole building, if anyone can hear my voice, please do not hesitate to walk towards my voice. We're friendly people. We've come here to make new friends. We would love to meet you. If there's someone here, can you come towards my hand? The light's in my hand. Maybe you can use that to communicate and talk to me. Maybe you can go towards any of the lights or the balls in the other hallway. I know that you've shown yourself to the people that work here, and it would be amazing if you could show yourself to me or to Jared. Is your name John? There is some noise, guys, and I mean, we are in like an industrial kitchen, so understandably there's, I don't know if there's a dishwasher or something going on, like fridges.
Dishwasher? They're not serving food at the moment.
I don't know what that is.
Maybe a refrigerator.
Probably a fridge, yeah. I don't know.
Show yourself.
I'm asking you to show yourself. If you could show yourself, that would mean a lot to us. It's peculiar that it said that. Was I just saying to show yourself to us? And it almost like repeated what I was saying. I know that you've shown yourself to the people that work here, and it would be amazing if you could show yourself to me or to Jared.
I heard noises down there.
I did too, like a click.
Mm.
Should we go see, or do you think that's just like a machine in here? If there's someone down there, can you make that noise again?
Nathan.
Nathan. I'm not aware that that name is of historical significance to the building, though I mean it could be. Is Nathan your name? So this seems like one of the prep areas, and I'm not sure exactly where all the stories I've heard about the kitchen have specifically happened, but some of the workers have heard as if, you know, someone has just slammed their fists on these metal countertops, you know?
Like this?
I guess. If there is someone in here with us, you could do me a huge favor to let me know that you're here and just make a really, really loud noise. I would freak out. Can you move something? Like move one of these pans? Move one of the clear balls I've left down there for you.
I heard that noise again.
Is it the same noise?
Yeah.
Shall we please see? Ow.
Father.
Father. Were you okay? Whose father are you? You related to Nathan? Do you feel like the noise was down here?
Down the end. Oh, sugar. Is that even on? It didn't flash.
Oh, did I not turn it on?
No. That one was off. Well, the dishwasher's not on.
There's a clock here, is there not? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. There's a clock here, but that's not what the noises we're hearing. Maybe here?
In front of you.
Hello, is there anybody here? I'm honestly quite creeped out. I've had that response before, but as soon as I walked in to this area, I don't know, maybe the floor is more hollow, but I felt like I could hear footsteps and I felt like there was, you know, I get that feeling like someone is near you. And honestly, like, I have heard that people have felt that, like, they feel a presence, they feel like they're not alone. Not necessarily all the kitchen staff have seen the dark figure that so many people have that work here, but some of them who haven't seen it have reported to feel like they can feel that they are around. I don't know what's in these doors. Are we allowed in here?
Sure.
Oh, what the heck? This is like a whole nother dining area. I think this is like outside of the mansion on the side. I don't know.
I don't think we're supposed to be in here.
That was a loud bang and it was so loud I heard the
Chandeliers rocking.
chandeliers rattle.
Yeah, I did too.
I don't know.
I don't think we're supposed to be in here.
This event was truly strange. It felt as though we were led into this room with Ghost 2 prompting us with the response "in front of you" as I walked towards this door. Furthermore, the app's magnetometer triggers right before we hear any of this noise. It's also really odd to me that the loud bang we heard in the moment is not audible at all on the audio recording, yet the chandelier glass can be heard so clearly. What do you think about this? Please leave me a comment below. I don't know.
I don't think we're supposed to be in here.
Is there somebody in here? Can you make that noise again? You heard that too, right?
Yeah, I heard the chandelier rattle, yeah. Well,
I could hear, oh, I'm getting like pins and needles in my legs. You need light? I've got light.
hang on.
Yeah, these are all glass. Wow, that
Hang on,
looks really pretty.
Ames, I need help.
Okay, that looks pretty, right? But yeah, these are all glass, and I heard it all tinkle.
Yeah, I definitely heard them rattling. There was definitely movement.
If there's someone in here, can you show yourself? I can see someone in the mirror. Is that you?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. A lot of people have claimed to see a young girl. Very, very odd.
Like someone walking around the table.
Where most people have kind of seen this older woman, so they could just see her in the reflection here. This looks like a seance table. Yeah, what was that?
Don't know.
almost sounded like it was a couple of men talking. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure that you're subscribed, because remember, I have a part 2 episode coming up really soon where we investigate the upstairs area of this haunted mansion. But if you did enjoy this episode, please remember to like, comment, share and subscribe. That really helps me out. You want to do more reading about this haunted mansion, then head to my website, AmysCrypt.com. You guys can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. I'm at AmysCrypt. You can also get more from me, more bonus content over my Patreon and my YouTube members, which are linked below. But thank you so much for watching, Crypt Keepers. Until next time.